Can you imagine launching 6 feet in the air, then free falling down with only a wooden plank resting loosely below your feet? Your adrenaline takes over while soaring through the air, causing the entire world to slow down. It seems like hours before you slam your feet against the board, hit the ground, and roll away smoothly. In order to feel this amazing adrenaline rush, you need to get a skateboard and most importantly know how to put it together and the history behind it. Skateboarding is a fairly old sport that started in the late 1950s. It began in the western parts of the United States but mainly blossomed throughout California. According to About.com, skateboarding started because surfers wanted a different activity to participate in. They decided to create a gadget that allowed them to ride the concrete like a street wave. Hence the reason why they used to call skateboarding street surfing. One issue behind the history of skateboarding is that the first inventor of the board is unknown. Lots of people started handcrafting boards at the same time that it makes it difficult to pinpoint the original creator. The original boards were made out of wooden boxes or thick pieces of plywood cut into rectangular shapes. They finished it off by adding roller skate wheels to the bottom. Boards today are not as simplistic. They've changed in shape, size, color, and how they're made. The original boards look like this. Like I said before, thick plywood, the roller skate wheels, and the wheels were usually made out of clay, which was dangerous because they could shatter. And thin, small, hard to ride, hard to balance on. Alright, so this is the board that you see today. These boards are made out of plywood, usually maple. They cut it into thin sheets called veneers. They usually use maple plywood. They glue the thin sheets together. They sand the bottom and the top, and then they put it in a press machine that presses the tail and the nose into its shape. But it's still in a rectangular form, but just shaped right. And then after that, they have a template of a blank board that they put on top of it, and they just saw from underneath around it to cut the shape of the board out. Then they usually finish it off with a layer. They finish it off with a layer of protectant that they paint on it, and then they can put a silk logo on it and melt it on there so it stays shut. So now that you know all about the history, you need to know the parts and how to put the skateboard together. So, for the basics, you get your skateboard deck right there, and then you got your trucks. Those are the two hard parts to remember: skateboard deck, trucks. The rest are fairly simplistic. You got your wheels, and inside the wheels you got the bearings. So wheels, bearings, trucks, skateboard deck. And all of these parts, the screws, that's just called hardware. So what you want to do is you want to have a Phillips screwdriver, either needle nose pliers, or a socket wrench, or just a regular wrench. What I do is I take the truck, you put in, these are called the bushings, right there. You take the truck, and you put it in with the bushings facing the inside. You line it up, then you take your hardware, hold the board upright, hold the trucks there, and then you gotta put the screw through the bolt, find the hole. What I usually do is, once I put one through, I slightly screw it on so that it doesn't fall off. But I don't completely screw it all the way. Okay. And the best way to do this is go catty cornered or diagonal. And the same thing that we just did, but do it with the diagonal hole in order to get the truck to stay on there better. Makes it more even. So you screw that on. Alright, so once you get the two screwed on, it's pretty solid, so then it makes it a lot easier to put the rest of them on. So that's how you put the trucks on, and then you just put the other two in, and then screw them as tight as possible. And then with the wheels, this is the tricky part. With wheels, you take them off, you get a socket wrench, fits the size of the hardware. And then to get the bearings out, it's kind of complicated. You have to do this, you take that, you pull the wheel up a little bit, and then you have to take your hand and pull it up halfway and kind of use this part of the truck as leverage to yank the bearing out like that. And you can do it both ways for both of them. And then once you get once you get both the bearings out, you need to put them back in also. So take them. You take one bearing, you put them back in. One bearing, put it down there, and then you just take your hand, put the wheel on, take your hand, and just push down until it clicks in, and you'll feel it click in. It's really simple. You do the same thing to the other side. You just flip it around, put the bearing on, so on. Squeeze it in there. You'll feel it click in. And also, it's good to about once every couple of months to rotate your wheels, just to flip them around. So it helps to know how to take the bearings in and off. So you got your deck, truck, wheels, bearings, hardware. That's pretty much all you need to know. Another thing is that people think skateboarding is really dangerous, but according to the National Electronic Injury Surveillance System, only 20 injuries occurred out of about 100,000 participants, which was the lowest among soccer, baseball, and basketball. So it's not too dangerous. There's not that many accidents that occur. And I've been skateboarding for about 7 years, and I've only had one accident, so it's been pretty safe to me. And that's pretty much all you need to know about putting together a skateboard.